A very good morning to all. I am Abhayan GS from University of Kerala, and today I am talking about an overview of Iron Age in Kerala with some insights from the southern part of Kerala in specific. On the basis of Paleolithic finds, it has been assessed that the human habitation started in the region of Kerala circa 70,000 BP. And then the region witnessed Mesolithic phase, then Neolithic, then comes Iron Age without having a Chalcolithic phase in between. 1000 BCE is marked as the beginning of iron technology in the region. Along with the iron technology, megalithic burial practices also emerged. The Iron Age or megalithic culture continued to flourish during the early historic period also, the same way it happened in the peninsular India in general. The early historic period is marked by the presence of coins, both Roman and Punchmark kind, the results from archaeological excavations, and literary works like Sangam literature, Greco Roman texts, as well as inscriptions. There is an explicit overlap between the Iron Age and early historic, but the exact kind of interactions that existed between the people who are representing these two cultural entities is problematic. Terminology is an interesting issue in the matter of megalithic culture in Kerala too. It has been called by different scholars with different names, like initially Babington called them as Pandukuris, then it has been called as prehistoric monuments, Pandukal complex, early Iron Age culture, proto-historic culture, Iron Age early historic culture, like that. The recent trend is calling it as Iron Age early historic culture. And the huge stone association of uh, megalithic culture has been questioned by many, and the inaptness of that term megalithic itself has been proved, but still people are using the same term megalithic, which has been popularized by many scholars, and it has been established term in the academic realm. The history of Iron Age research in Kerala can be classified into two major phases. One is pre-independence phase and another one is post-independence phase. The formal study was started by Babington in 1819 in the northern Kerala, and subsequent to him, many people, many scholars and antiquarians ventured into megalithic studies. And after the independence phase, the research got a new direction. The research became a little more problem oriented, or a systematic researches came into existence. And however, certain works which have been done during the pre-independence phase itself were very valuable in terms of academic excellence. On the other hand, some of the works done after the independence phase were somewhat equal to antiquarianism. Megalithic burial typology is another complex issue in terms of its classification and terminology. This is the graphical representation of burial types in Kerala. Kerala has a set of unique kind of burial types, especially made of laterite. There are four kinds of that. Apart from that, the other kind of burial types are very common in other parts of peninsular India too. The urn burials need no introduction. This is one famous example from Portculum, which has been excavated in 1940s. These are some other urn burials or urn specimens recovered from Kerala. One notable feature here in Portculum urn is a hook-like projection inside the urn, on the shoulder portion inside the urn. This might have been used for hanging certain things as part of the burial rituals. Such similar kind of hooks have been recovered from Palakkad region too, as well as from Adichanallur also in Tamil Nadu. Other common feature in urns is the presence of an applique design on the shoulder portion of the urn, which is found in variety of ways. Sometimes it is a single row, sometimes a double row, sometimes triple row, and it has a particular pattern of hatching out kind of design towards down. Sarcophagus is a leg terracotta coffin which has been reported in less frequency, that too from northern Kerala only. This has been found in association with the rocket chamber and cysts. Cyst, dolmen, and dolmenoid cysts are probably the popularmost kind in Kerala. The differentiation of dolmenoid cysts from cysts and dolmens is somewhat tricky. Basically, cysts are considered to be completely underground and dolmens are considered to be completely overground. Dolmenoid cysts are in between, that is half buried. These two are dolmens, and this one with the U-shaped porthole may be referred as dolmenoid cyst. And this one is an example of transepted kind of cyst. And all these four images are from the Marayur region in Idiki. All three kinds of cysts are found in Kerala. The first one is transepted cyst. It is a single chambered cyst with a small partition inside. And another kind is anti-chambered cyst. In this kind, an antechamber or a passage chamber is constructed along with the cyst structure. And the third one is a double chambered cyst. This kind of cyst has two independent chambers with independent portholes and all. Menhirs are mostly a non-sepulchral kind, but in rare cases it has been associated with burial goods below. Mostly they are granite made, while some lateritic specimens are also common in northern Kerala. Stone circles and cane circles are marking arrangements found in association with other types of burial monuments. This one from Anakara is with a partitioned stone circle along with urn burials below. Let's come to the Kerala types. Umbrella stone is a mushroom or umbrella shaped structure made out of dressed laterite. It is composed of four orthostats and a paraboloid top portion. This can be considered as an evolved form of cyst or dolmens. This example from Kasaragod is an attestation to that. And this particular one is more similar to a dolmen than an umbrella stone. There are different kinds of umbrella stones, different varieties of umbrella stones as shown in the pictures. Capstone is roughly hemispherical shaped laterite made structure that rests on ground often with burial goods beneath. Hoodstones are broad circle of lateritic slabs placed in slightly slanting position towards inside the circle. Rocket cave is an amazing example of laterite cut architecture, and it is a scooped out or carved out cave into the lateritic outcrops. It has basically three elements. One is a chamber with a vaulted roof. It sometimes possesses porthole in the center on top portion. Second element is a passageway leading to it, often with a flight of steps. The third element is a rectangular entrance with different tiers of door frames. Sometimes rocket chambers are found without porthole, instead, a central pillar occurs in the middle. Sometimes they are without porthole and without a pillar like this. Some of them have been found to be multi-chambered with independent entrances and often with common entrance like this. A small groove in circular plan can be seen in many of the rocket chambers, which are originally meant for holding the stone slabs to form a circle. Such stone slabs can be seen in the vicinity of the rocket chambers. This one is another rocket chamber from Kasaragod district. The circular groove is seen here also from the top view. This is a 3D model of the rocket chamber and its cross sections are given here for having an idea about its architecture. Inside the rocket chamber, such bench or court-like feature can be seen, which is actually carved in the laterite itself. And this one is another example for that. And on the left is a central pillar that was mentioned before. And this kind of small projections, usually three in number, in the laterite are often called as hearthstones. But it doesn't seem to have any function related to fire or cooking. Basically, it seems to be the pottery stand which holds pots with globular body. The burial typology is many ways complex and confusing. Usually, an interment space for burials or commemorative structure is marked by circles made of stones, or they are additionally filled with cairns. And these examples show a variety of combinations of burial types. This example from Anakara shows two concentric circles around a rocket chamber. And this umbrella stone is provided with stone slabbed circle. This is from Machadi circle with stones. Urns are circled in this case at Anakara. When we observe pottery, the Kerala region shows four ware types: black and red ware, black ware, red ware, and russet coated and painted ware. Pottery shares common shapes of other southern Indian Iron Age burial assemblies in general, with the inverted firing technique of black and red ware, often with some paintings. Black ware here is almost similar to black and red ware, only the technique is different here, it seems like. Red ware in general shows more shapes, especially like jars, and they possess applique and incised decorations. Meanwhile, russet coated and painted ware is found to be present in northern Kerala. especially in Palakkad or Malappuram regions, which are close to the Coimbatore region, where this type is very common. Other well known examples of shapes are ring stands and lids made of blackware, black and redware, and redware. These are some examples from Kerala. Semi precious stone beads like carnelian, including the etched ones, quartz, agate, jasper, etc., can also be seen in many burial assemblages in Kerala. And these are significant indicators of their interaction with the distant locations like the Deccan region, as well as their connection with the early history people of urban settlements. Their efficiency in iron metallurgy has been proved from a large range of tools and utensils. Burial to burial, we can see large variations in tool types. Domination of some particular tool types can be seen. For example, from Neeramukkulam in Pathanamthitta, a large number of agricultural implements are seen here, mostly like sickles. On the other hand, from Kadanad in Kottayam, the tool types are mostly defensive kind of tools. They are mostly uh, swords or dagger kind of tools. From Ummichipoil in Kasaragod district, the iron tool assemblage is mostly constituted of chisels, and of course other some other tools are also there, but the dominant type is chisel. And what does it indicate? Probably it has some connection with the occupation of the deceased person. We are not sure about it, it's an assumption. But one thing is for sure is the specialization of occupations. There must have been some kind of specialized or skilled people who were using these kind of different tools which are meant for different purposes. We have attestation to their use of gold mostly for ornaments and copper for utensils and ornaments as well. Some rarely occurring things include terracotta figurines, querns, pestles, grinding stones, etc. One unused crucible, a small one, from an urn in Idiki is here. Another puzzling finding is the occurrence of a typical Neolithic polished cells as burial goods. There are indications to their agricultural practices. We have a very recent find of paddy grains from Idiki. This is a direct and a very rare evidence for the proof of agriculture. Similarly, iron made plowshare is another indication. Sickles are also assigned to have their role uh, in agriculture related purposes. There are two major issues in Kerala's Iron Age researches. One is the nature of burials. It is all secondary burials. There is no primary burial available in Kerala. And also, in many of the burials, we don't get any kind of human remains at all. The dead bodies might have been disposed of in some other ways, and some leftover bones were probably collected and buried along with the burial goods. Similarly, poor preservation conditions pertaining to the particular climatic features of Kerala is another issue. Secondly, the lack of habitation evidence is the most embarrassing issue here in Kerala. Like in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, in Kerala we don't get habitation cum burial sites or habitation sites in separate. And in short, we don't have a habitation context which can be connected with the burials. The possible reasons for the lack of habitation evidence could be dispersed nature of settlements, if there is frequent shifts in settlements from one place to another, if perishable materials were used for constructions, if environmental peculiarities and landforms of Kerala might not allow the formation of archaeological mounds, and finally, inadequate archaeological survey methods could also be a major reason for not finding habitation evidence in Kerala. However, there is a usual pattern in the presence of burials. The burials are mostly found on the hill slopes which are overlooking the valley, and ultimately the valley is arable and it is likely to be inhabited. Somehow there are some recent propositions for habitation evidence in Kerala. One among them is Pattanam, which is very significant. The earliest level of Pattanam is identified, Pattanam excavation is identified as Iron Age. But somehow more evidence is required for any sort of a confirmation of this kind of a habitation evidence. Another proposition comes from Marayur region, a site called Nachivayal. It has been claimed to be habitation evidence based on the presence of some kind of pottery from the stratigraphic context. When we discuss the chronology, as the research progresses, the chronological brackets are widening in Kerala's Iron Age. Dating has been attempted based on the stylistic affiliations of artifacts and also radiocarbon dates. The first radiocarbon date in Kerala was derived by Satyamurthy through the excavations at Mangadu, which continues to be the lowermost date still available in Kerala. After that, a few more C14 dates have been derived. Many of them properly fit into the Megalithic time period, but some of them went very much outside of that. Some of them came up to 15th century AD, which are definitely the indications of later disturbances or indication of some kind of human activities in a later period. Still, there is a paucity of C14 dates available in Kerala. There is a need of more radiocarbon dates to be obtained, and also these radiocarbons alone cannot solve the issue of chronology. The issue of internal chronology can only be developed through the uh, validation of radiocarbon dates through the comparative study of pottery and other artifacts. What more than burials is a question. The recent excavations at Pattanam, Vizhinjam, and other sites, and a few surveys in Kollam region especially, these are all giving new kind of material culture that can throw light on the aspects of early historic and later periods in Kerala. And especially from Pattanam excavations, presence of black and red ware in the earliest levels of its habitation offers new possibilities in solving many vital questions. Pattanam provides urban features and early history material culture in which how Iron Age people played a role is a question to be elaborated and answer to be found. Recently, The rock art evidence in Kerala have been increasingly accounted with the Iron Age, which is also a promising area for better understanding the Iron Age in Kerala. In addition to the search for burials, the Iron Age research is looking more at the supplementary information like this. The presence of iron slags in scattered manner could be a viable link to the iron production activities during the Iron Age. Additionally, there are literary references to iron in early century CE. Now I am going to brief about the Iron Age research in southern part of Kerala, which has been included with the district like Kottayam, Pathanamthitta, Kollam and Thiruvananthapuram. The southern part of Kerala is devoid of Kerala's unique forms like rocket chamber, Kudakal, Topical, etc. are not present in this part. Here, the burial types are dominated by cists and urns mostly, and many of the small regions or micro regions have witnessed intensive surveys, and which has resulted in a large number of explored sites, especially in recent times. More number of sites have been excavated, formally excavated here rather than in the north and central part of Kerala. Many of the excavations have been a kind of salvage operation, but still a lot of information could be collected due to such efforts. This can be considered excavations. These are the sites which have been excavated in Kollam district, Mangad, which I mentioned before also. It's one of the important sites excavated in southern Kerala. Aripa, Poredam, Karimpalur, Valiyapadam, Tharathala, these are the excavated sites. In Kottayam district, Kunnoni was excavated by Rajendran. Oliani was also excavated by him. Kadanad was excavated recently, where three locations were excavated, and among them, one was relatively well preserved, or the collection was very good at the last one. In Pathanamthitta district, a cist burial at Koduman was excavated by the State Archaeology Department in 1990s, but the reports are unavailable. Another excavation was conducted at Niramukkulam, which is in Konni Taluk. The excavation was conducted by Ambili and Ajit Kumar of University of Kerala. In Pathanamthitta district, Enadimangalam Panchayat was found to be a potential area in terms of Iron Age burials. Though the region has been noticed during 1960s, recent intensive surveys by Hasin Raja and Harinarayanan revealed more interesting evidence. This led us to choose a cist burial from Enadimangalam to excavate in 2019. The cist burial site is located in a rubber plantation on the slope of a hill called as Parakada at Pudangara locality in Enadimangalam region. Its location is in between Kallada and Pamba rivers, but the river bank is slightly far away from the site. As you can see that in the location map here. This is the contour map of the region, the hillock of Parakada, and this is the location of burial. It is on the slope of the hill. An important tool for documentation is displayed here. By making use of MetaShape, a software by Agisoft, the three-dimensional documentation was done. The conventional manual drawing at the site is not required. Instead, with the help of multiple photographs from different angles, 3D models of excavated subjects can be prepared. The illustrations can be made out of it by Inkscape or any other drawing or illustrator kind of softwares. The excavations revealed a double chambered cyst. A large chamber is divided into two by placing two slabs in between, and these two chambers were named as cyst 1 and cyst 2. Each cyst possessed portholes. One is trapezoid and the other is circular in shape. The initial trench was 5 into 5 meter, but it was extended as per the requirement of the work. Like shown in the picture, 25 centimeter and 50 centimeter box were maintained for understanding the construction activity as well as for documentation purposes. Another very significant finding is the presence of coat or bunch like feature made of stone slabs in each of the cyst chambers. The floor level is also paved with a large stone slab in both the cysts. The slabs are made of gneissic rock, which is locally available in the surroundings. And the bench is actually supported by two vertically placed slab pieces like this. The bench or court feature is very common in rocket chambers in northern Kerala, like shown here, but it is very rarely seen in cysts. From Kerala, it has been noticed only from Porkalam, that is a single occurrence. Outside of Kerala, it has been noticed from Tandikudi and Pudukkottai region in Tamil Nadu. And this is a very unique occurrence here in whole southern Kerala. It is for the first time this kind of a feature is revealed. When we talk about the quarrying technique or stone cutting technique, these slabs are not much dressed, except where two slabs are joined perpendicular to each other, like here, it has been cut. Otherwise, it is roughly the way it has been quarried. But the portholes are exceptions. These have been chiseled neatly and made into specific shapes. Meantime, rest of the slabs are now dressed into proper shapes. Here, in this specific portion, three marks are visible, which are resulted from a very heavy blow by a hammer or similar heavy tool. But we haven't come across such heavy tools from the assemblage. From the assemblage, we don't find any small stout chisels which is meant for stone working or any other kind of hammer like big heavy duty tools have not been noticed from the collections or assemblages. These are all mostly agricultural tools, and here it is mostly defensive kind. These are not suitable for making these stone cutting or stone quarrying activities. And these are mostly carpenter's tools. Most of these chisels are very thin. These are meant for working on wood materials. These are not suitable for working in stone, or these are not viable for quarrying such big slabs of stones. That means these kind of big heavy duty hammer kind of tools we are missing from the assemblages. Probably they were using something else, or they were not placing such tools along with the burial assemblages. Attempts were done for understanding the burial monument construction process. Basically, the bottom portions of the slabs do not have a regular edge. Because of that, stone fragments have been inserted at places, especially on the corner portions, for making the orthostats in a proper position. And several examples have been shown here in the pictures. Another important point for discussion is an evidence of later disturbance. Small wedge-shaped quarrying marks were noticed. These are actually later activities for the reuse of stones in much later time. This kind of marks are very common in medieval and later periods. Such marks are visible in Chumadudangis or load relieving stones or temples of later phase. And these marks would be otherwise mistakenly considered to be belonging to Iron Age. My point is that the Iron Age people were not aware of this method of cutting stone. Also, these marks can only be seen in disturbed or vandalized remains of Iron Age burials. This cyst itself is damaged exactly on the point where these marks are visible. See other examples from Thrissur region. These are the stone slabs originally came from a cyst burial which has been vandalized at some point of time. In intact dolmens and cysts, these kind of marks are not there. Here, the five layers can be seen from the drawing. Two sections are shown here from northeast and southeast corners. On the north, the pit is clearly visible. The Iron Age people dug the pit up to 5 layers till the pegmatitic rock layer was revealed. The pit was dug in a slopy way as the land surface is also slopy towards south. 12 pottery were found in situ at the bottom portion of the chambers, just below the level of court or bench like feature. This is the plan of the cyst showing locations of each in situ pottery finds. There is a possibility of multiple use of the same burial structure in consecutive time periods for undertaking different burials. This is proposed on the basis of scattered finds of pottery from different locations. Apart from 12 in situ pottery, large number of portraits were noticed from the various levels of the burial in a scatter. The scatter was found from outside the chamber, especially from the southern side close to the porthole, and from the filled soil inside the chamber. These uh, scattered portions point to the possibility of the reuse of burial for multiple times. One burial was done, and after some time it was reopened, and another burial was done. That is the reason we are assigning on the basis of the pottery scatter. The pottery scatter could be because of other reasons also, like if it was a result of a burial related rituals, this kind of occurrence can happen. A third alternative is a result of human vandalism. If it was a part of, if it was a result of a treasure hunt, this kind of a feature may occur. The hypothesis of the reuse of burial structure can be supported by the occurrence of solitary burials in each hillock. Instead of burial clusters composed of numerous individual burials, solitary burials are seen here. This map shows the distribution of cysts in the Enadimangalam region only. All of them are solitary and located on hill slopes. Not even a damaged or a second burial was not noticed in these hillocks during the surveys. Possibly, smaller settlements in between the hillocks were using a single cyst assigned to them for burial of all their people in different time periods. To conclude with the Enadimangalam excavation, it was a very successful one in terms of understanding the burial structure and the burial construction activities. Court or bench like feature is the unique one which was first reported in southern Kerala. Some of the stone cutting marks of post Iron Age period were pointed out here, which otherwise would have misunderstood as belonging to Iron Age. Another hypothesis multiple use of the same burial structure in consecutive time periods. Potsherds scatter in both inside and outside the chamber is one of the strong points or one of the positive signs of multiple use of the burial. Similarly, occurrence of solitary burials in scattered distribution along the hillocks is another supporting factor for that. Neeramukkulam says burial produced two radiocarbon dates that gives a range like this. The earlier date comes from 364 BC and the second date comes maximum till 263 CE. It has also been suggested as a reuse of the same monument for multiple times. And this kind of reuse idea of reuse of the same monument has been suggested by the excavators of Mangada as well as Machada and Padayanur's burial excavations in Thrissur region. And role of the environment is a very important element which has to be considered for search for habitation evidence in the region. I thank you all for listening, and I owe a lot to various institutions and individuals for directly and indirectly helping me in putting together this presentation. Please have a look at the acknowledgements here. Kindly post your queries or any points for discussions here, or I have given my contact number and email ID here. You can contact me. I will be happy to hear from you. Thank you all.